United States to the Middle East, where tensions in Gaza are escalating once again, as Israel announces a new and highly controversial plan for the military occupation of Gaza City. With mass displacement, denial of aid, and widespread international condemnation, the humanitarian crisis in the region continues to deepen. We have more in this report.
Israel's Security Cabinet has approved a controversial plan by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the military occupation of Gaza. According to Israeli sources, the plan includes the forced displacement of all Palestinian civilians from the northern city to refugee camps in central Gaza. Aid will be cut off from the area as a method of coercing evacuation. The deadline for civilians to leave Gaza City has been set for October 7, 2025. Prime Minister Netanyahu recently declared that Israel will take control of all of Gaza. The plan outlines long-term military control over the territory and the establishment of a civilian administration, excluding both Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. The move comes amid a deepening humanitarian catastrophe. Over 61,000 Palestinians have been killed and more than 152,000 wounded since the war began. At least 197 people, including children, have now died from starvation and malnutrition, raising urgent concerns of a man-made famine. International condemnation has been swift. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has urged Israel to, quote, reconsider immediately and reaffirmed the UK's commitment to a two-state solution. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong warned that permanent forced displacement is a violation of international law. Russia's UN Ambassador Dmitry Pilyansky called the plan a very bad step in an absolutely wrong direction. Even within Israel, there is dissent. Opposition leader Yair Lapid denounced the plan as completely contrary to the position of the military and warned of rising exhaustion among combat troops. Palestinian politician Mustafa Barghouti described the decision as a declaration of a war crime, accusing the Israeli government of attempting the ethnic cleansing of Gaza's population. As the war nears the one-year mark since the October 7th attacks that killed 1,139 people in Israel, the future of Gaza and its people hangs in uncertainty under a plan many believe will only deepen the crisis.
And joining me for more on this is the Chairman, 16th Council UK, Dr. Brian Reuben. Thank you so much for joining us. So let me get your reaction to this, because last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had touted the full occupation of Gaza, and it did generate a lot of reaction around the world. And now that his cabinet has now approved of it, how do you react to it?
It's a dangerous move. Israel's move to seize Gaza City isn't just a military operation. It's a political gamble with global consequences, actually. Gaza City is the heart of a wounded people. And taking it by force risks turning a war into a generational crisis. Even with Trump being in office and offering political cover, the cost diplomatically, morally, and regionally is growing by the hour. I mean, you just mentioned the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and his response to that. That's not good for Israel. This isn't just about control of land. It's about the collapse of restraint, and the world is watching.
But Israel believes that Hamas is not interested in negotiating a ceasefire agreement. Could a threat of a full occupation also be part of Israel's strategy to try to force Hamas into making concessions for that agreement?
Hamas will not agree. That's not enough to force Hamas. There could be other ways to achieve that goal, because Gaza City is symbolic. It's the heart of the enclave. It's where Hamas has projected power. But it's also where over a million civilians struggle to survive. Israel is targeting it to cripple Hamas' claim to governance. But without a post-Hamas plan, it risks replacing one chaos with another. Because even if you weaken Hamas militarily, you are risking empowering them ideologically So you could see more people becoming radicalized, and we could have more problems than we actually currently have. So I do not think that occupying Gaza, and again, what wasn't the situation here is that Israel isn't really just trying to occupy Gaza. It's really de facto, you know, because it may be called real occupation, but when you hold territory, control movement, dismantle governance structures, you are occupying. The difference is Israel is trying to control without assuming responsibilities. That's the dangerous contradiction.
Now, there are those who believe that Netanyahu is prolonging a conflict to guarantee the survival of his coalition. You know that many of them he relies rather on the support of ultra-nationalist ministers who have threatened to quit the government if the war ends. Could this also be about his political survival?
Well, whether it is political survival or not is not even the issue here. We're looking at people, we're looking at lives, we're looking at the fact that Israel is losing the narrative war. You know, before now, there has been this consensus that Israel has a right to defend itself. But how you defend yourself matters, all right? Because if you achieve your political gains, whatever they might be, and then put the whole country at risk, that's what makes it problematic, right? So you don't just remove Hamas or strengthen your political position without solving the crisis. There is a need for a legitimate Palestinian leadership. Palestinian people need leadership, and that leadership really cannot come from Israel. There needs to be an international oversight, and there needs to be a real political roadmap. You know, Gaza could become ungovernable, and Israel will inherit the burden it was trying to avoid. So it's a dangerous gamble, like I said earlier.
And let's now look at the reaction from the international community. Germany has threatened to stop selling or supplying weapons to the to Israel rather. The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has described the decision as wrong and called Israel to reconsider it. But back home in Israel, there are also warnings from the army leadership for Israel not to do that. There's also opposition from hostage families. Can international pressure and discontent at home force Netanyahu to change his course?
It's difficult without Trump support. Any international pressure without the support of the United States risk not. I mean, it's hard for.
All right, so
without the support of the United. Are you there?
So if you can hear me, I was asking if the pressure from the international community and discontent at home can force Netanyahu to change his course. All right. It looks like Dr. Brian cannot hear at this moment. We'll just take we'll take a break.
I was struggling. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So I was saying to you that any pressure, any effort without the support of the United States is hardly going to be sufficient to deter Israel from moving forward. Because Trump is a strong supporter of Israel, and the geopolitical situation of the world today is at a dangerous state where old rules don't apply, alliances are shifting, and there is what I call geopolitical freelancing. However, we need to move beyond statements. The international community must move, however, from rhetoric to resolution. Pressure for ceasefire, enforce humanitarian corridors, and demand a political pathway. Otherwise, we are just watching another generation radicalized right before our eyes.
And the U.S., like you mentioned, is Israel's most strategic and important ally. The Trump administration has not expressed opposition to Netanyahu's plans. Could that be an indication of support?
Absolutely, that's an indication of support. It's very clear. And however, I would wish that the Trump administration can look into all of nothing is wrong with supporting Israel. Nothing is wrong with Israel defending itself. However, we should look at the consequences of certain decisions and actions. And I think that this one is a dangerous one. It's not good at all for even Israel itself. It's not even good for the security of Israel.
Well, Israel's allies are reacting. We will see how this progresses. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Reuben Bryan.
Thank you for having me.